Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Another episode of Clickbait. Like usual, Bachelor Nation breakdown. We've had some engagements this week. We saw Madison Pruitt, Bennett, Andrew. That's his last. Or I think
Jordan.
that's his Instagram
Bennett
name.
Jordan.
Bennett Jordan.
His middle name. Bennett Andrew Jordan.
Bennett Andrew Jordan. And then we're going to break down the show. And then we have Clickbait of the Week, which Natasha will take the lead on. And our guest is Tyler from Rachel and Gabby's season, but he is one of Rachel's men. He's on Rachel's team now because there are now teams. Gabby, Rachel, who's going for who. We see Logan's flip-flopping. Quite entertaining at the end.
Told y'all. I tried to tell y'all.
Did you?
You told us.
Did you say that?
What did you say? You said you didn't trust him or something, right?
Yeah, didn't trust his face.
You
Or
did
his
say
hair.
that.
You did
His
say
hair.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
Tia said that. Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah. Well, looks
I feel like I can hear myself breathing. Can y'all
Did
hear
y'all
me
miss
breathing?
me? Like, wait, y'all matching and stuff? I mean, what's going on here?
We are a match. I honestly, I think I might have worn this T-shirt last week, but
I'm not kidding. I put a tank on and was like, I'm pretty sure I've worn this the last 3 weeks. I don't think I can wear this same tank again. So
yeah.
we did color. Yes, we missed you though. Of course, we talked about Zaddy's on the episode that you're not on.
Oh, I heard. And I was laughing at y'all because I was like, yeah.
Joe is a zaddy, and that's why I wore these glasses. What, Natasha? You've actually said that I was a zaddy multiple times.
I said that to you?
Yeah, you did.
When did I say that to you?
In Paradise, you were like, Joe, quit, you're such a zaddy. Like you did say that.
I probably was referring to Kenny. I think Kenny was the zaddy of the Kenny was the zaddy in Paradise.
Yeah, that's true.
For sure.
Kenny definitely has that look.
Yeah, right? He had I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. He's probably had that look for 30 years though, right?
Yeah.
100%.
I think that there's something about I'll just say from listening to you guys, the biggest difference between just like an older guy dating a younger girl, I think it's like direction and or money. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. Like, zaddies, for the most part, is taking care of a person in some sort of way. So there is like a directional taking care of, which I think Joe and you and Serena have down.
So basically what you're saying is, Joe, your broke ass is not a zaddy.
No, that's not
essentially what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the term actually came from an older guy dating a young girl and him taking care of her. Like, that's like where
Like
it
a
came
sugar daddy? Like financially?
Well, but no, because it's not like a 60-year-old and like a 20-year-old, you know, like it's not just so transactional like a sugar daddy. Like, I'm looking for somebody to pay my bills. No,
Well, yeah,
you're actually in a relationship with someone. You're with someone, but they're providing something like that a person your age doesn't. Like I said, direction and or like money. And sometimes money is direction, you know?
And a sugar daddy is also not necessarily like a good looking guy, but a zaddy.
A zaddy is
true.
fine. Exactly.
Yeah.
Zaddy is fine. He fine. He period. He's fine. Yeah, I dated a zaddy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like zaddies a lot. I'll be
Okay.
like,
That's what we thought.
I'll be like,
we
I'm
thought
lost. I need some direction.
Zaddy, where are you?
I think that's why I like dating smart men so much. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyways, yeah, good conversation, guys. Love that. Love that I missed it. So that's my 2 cents on the zaddy. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
All right, let's get into the breakdown, shall we?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
I
Yes,
know.
let's do it.
So like Joe said, we've had some engagements this week. A good week for engagements. Maddie Pruitt got engaged to Grant Trout. He's
Yes.
not an
Trot.
influencer. Oh, Trot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Grant Trot. He's not an influencer or anything, is he?
No.
No.
I don't
Regular
think so.
old guy. They're so
Yeah.
freaking cute. And also, Bennett Jordan proposed to his girlfriend. Whose season was Bennett on? Katie?
Tasha's.
Tasha and
Oh.
Claire.
Tasha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Um,
How exciting!
Yes.
So I'm very excited for Maddie. I don't even know if she wants me to say this, but
Well, now you got to say it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm gonna.
I love when somebody starts something off with that.
Well, I mean, because I didn't hear it from her. I heard it from another friend, and I hate the telephone thing, but it's all good. So, as you guys know, Sydney and Fred got married, and me and Jasmine from my season were together for that weekend. And Jasmine she got engaged and then she got unengaged, and it was very traumatic. It was very awful. The guy blindsided her. It was awful. So we were just talking about love, life, all the good things, and she was talking
just
to me.
just FYI, I didn't know any of that, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
yes. So if you go to Jasmine's Instagram story, she put a whole video about it. It was very sad. They had just put down a deposit on their venue, and he was like, "Yeah, I can't do this." So
Oh, wow.
yeah, but he wasn't the one. So forget him. No, we don't like him no more. She gonna be fine. Anyway, so we were just talking about love life, and she brought up Maddie and Grant, and she was saying how, listen, like, Grant is so great, and you need to should want to date someone who you can say to your sisters, like she has younger sisters, you need to date a guy like Grant. Whether things work out between us or not, you should date a guy like him because he's a good person, he's a good human, he's great with his family, he's great with us. And looking back, it's like sometimes when you date someone, when you like, I have exes that are blocked forever because they just actually weren't great. Like, I liked them for the time that we were dating, and then it was like, actually, you kind of suck as a person.
Do you ever think maybe they block you?
No, they don't block me because I'm a great
Okay.
human.
All right, keep
I
going.
block them because they don't understand boundaries. I say, don't call me, and they call me anyway. That's why they get blocked. But yeah, so I'm saying all that to say, when I heard this story about Maddie and Grant and how much she was so happy to say that, hey, my sister should date someone like this or someone, I was like, oh, you know what? This gonna be her husband. I thought it to myself. I really did. And then this just happened. So I'm very happy for them. I'm so freaking happy for them. And also, do you guys know how Bennett and his fiance met?
No.
I don't.
I'm behind.
A yoga class, and she like emailed him after the yoga class or something.
So they met via email?
No. It wasn't via email. It was like, I read this, and I think he posted it about it. It's like he went to a yoga class, and then I don't know, they must have had a conversation after or something, and then she emailed him like, "Hey, thanks for coming to my class." Like,
Oh, she's the instructor.
Yeah, she was the instructor. Sorry,
So she made the initial move. Huh?
I think so. And Bennett, listen, if you listen to this, correct me if I'm wrong, but yes. And it's giving Emily and Haley Ferguson. It's giving slide into the DMs. It's giving go after.
Or if you
your
went
man.
to Harvard, slide into the emails. Because that's
Wait,
technically-
he went to Harvard?
Yeah, he went to Harvard.
Okay, last night I was like, damn, he makes me think of Warner from Legally Blonde. So that totally makes sense. Because they went to Harvard too. I don't know how old Bennett is, but he seems like a zaddy, if not now, a future zaddy.
I feel like on Tasha's in Claire's season, I feel like he was 37.
Yeah, I would say he's probably like 38 now.
38, maybe, something like that.
So
not
zaddy.
40, just under 40 maybe.
But he definitely has the zaddy look, for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I definitely, when he was on the season, I definitely paid attention to him because he was one of the older guys. I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh, okay.
Looking like
Then-
Superman in his glasses.
But he also dresses like Tia. Thank you, Tia. But he also dresses like they're, he dresses like an adult.
Yeah,
Right.
Where
he dresses like an adult.
I dress like a child.
Oh, God. Oh, Joe, whatever event y'all went to with Caitlin and you had those shorts on, listen.
Hey, I was
Tears.
living out of a suitcase for like 2.5 weeks. I only packed to go to a lake house. So everything I had was for a lake house. But my little windbreaker was actually really cool. And it was
fit
hit
the theme.
It fit the theme, and it was the hit of the party. So
Yeah,
Whatever.
now I'm trying to figure out who else from my season about to get engaged. Who's next?
Did you see
I
the
mean-
behind the scenes of Maddie and Grant's little thing? Because I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
some comments that were like, oh, that's so staged. She has a white dress on. But the whole reason that she had the white dress on is because she was somewhere with her friend. What's her friend's name? Jeannie. Anyway. So she went in the
Listen.
bathroom as like a setup, and her mom and sisters were there with this like long silky white dress for her to put on. So she knew in that moment, okay, something's about to happen, and then her
Listen.
man was waiting for her.
Also,
it was really cute.
this news just dropped. Well, maybe it didn't just drop, but I just heard it from one of our producers. He's a billionaire with a B.
A billionaire by himself.
His family apparently is. They have a lot of money. Mm-hmm.
Wow, good for her and them. Good for
How
them.
did you become a billionaire with a B?
If you have to Google it, you
Let me
probably will
look.
never
I know.
become one.
I'm looking it up.
How to become a billionaire. All right, let's. Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, we
Yes,
love a
I'm
guy
very
that's a
happy
good guy and a
for them.
billionaire. Yeah, we're so happy for both of them.
It's a lot of love in the air, guys.
Yes.
A lot of love from Bachelor 24 too. Ooh, let me tell you. Mm-mm-mm.
All right, next one. I feel like we've talked about this before, but it's good to touch on again. Rachel Lindsay reveals why she and her husband Brian try to keep their relationship more private and off of social media. I respect them for doing that because I know it's hard to feel like you're in this spotlight and you feel like you owe it to people to share your life. But I appreciate that their primary job is not social media. Like Brian is a chiropractor and has his own clinic. Rachel's a
Right.
TV show host, podcast host. It's not like they solely use Instagram as their job.
Right.
So it's a
Because
little
if they did, they'd
different
be doing
too.
those ads together.
Right, exactly. Yeah, double the monies.
But I also
knocking
I also like the way that she acknowledged that she understands why people want to see that.
100%.
Because that's the biggest thing. Like, of course, this is why people know who you are.
Right.
So yeah, it's expected that they would want to see more, but it's what you're comfortable with. It's your social media page. So.
And she also hit on these people, and I just got to talk to my single people who listening to the podcast right now. She hit on these people who post on their Instagram, they're so happy, they're so this, they're so that, and then 5 minutes later, they're breaking up.
Oh, for sure.
And
Oh, yeah.
Instagram is just that. It's the highlight reel of life. And we always talk about this, and I have certain friends who are like, oh, I have to get off Instagram because I'm single and I'm upset that I'm single and there's too much going on. I'm seeing too many couples, I'm like, girl, she can't stand his ass. You know that. You know he don't want to be at her family's house right now. You know that.
Taylor
And
calls
like-
me out on it. He's like, you just posted that picture and I'm freaking mad at your ass. So take that shit down because that's not even real. I'm like, that's a great point.
I post some especially on TikTok. I post some in the moments of Serena and myself. Me reading to her before we go to bed. I read out loud.
Like zaddies do.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Direction.
Oh man. Sometimes I just wish I didn't say anything. Okay. But let's talk about. Okay, great. Rachel, Lindsay, Brian. They keep it private. They show what they want to show.
Yeah.
Great for them. They're
I'm
doing
so
well.
happy for them.
But let's talk about how she interviewed Brad Pitt because
Was it on
wait.
the red carpet?
Wait,
This
before we
happened?
go to Brad Pitt, I also have to say, too, I think if Rachel was dating a different guy, she probably would post them more. Like, Brian is so low-key. Like, he's so low-key. And,
well,
like,
she's married to him, so married to a different guy.
married to married to a different guy, sorry. But you know what I
Jesus.
mean. Like,
Jesus.
he's
I
just
forget
super
sometimes they're
low-key, like, not, like, hey, post me every 5 minutes. He's not like that. So, shout out to Brian.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
sorry.
Well, let's talk
Brad
about
Pitt.
let's talk about
get
Brad
to Bay.
Pitt.
Look, let's get to Bay real quick. Go
And
ahead.
that's pretty cool. He's like probably one of the biggest movie stars of
Ever.
our generation, and she interviewed him for a decent amount of time. Mm-hmm. Okay,
What did he-
Natasha,
what did-
you
what did
want to
he-
talk about this too. So
What did
do you
he
want
say?
He said he loves The Bachelor and Paradise, and he was really sad about what happened to Natasha, and he wants to meet me one day.
Wait, look at
Okay.
him wearing a green sweatsuit thing, looking good anyway.
Would you
Okay.
would you date Brad Pitt right now at this age?
Absolutely.
100%.
What? 100%. What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
Okay.
Me? We don't even have
If-
a date.
if you were let's put you in Rachel Lindsay's place, okay? Let's say you were interviewing Brad on the red carpet and he slipped you a little note and said like
Meet me in the bathroom.
Meet me in the bathroom. Are you going?
I would be like, y'all, I gotta go.
Nice.
I gotta go.
Nice.
Immediately.
Respect.
I would be like, what? I gotta go.
Is he dating anyone?
I don't know if he's dating anyone, but I will say that I have to give a shout out to Angelina as well because I love her. I love her so much. And they're not together anymore. And that's the only reason why I'm talking about her ex-husband this way. Because when they were together, I was like, girl.
You were respectful or no?
I was so respectful. I never shared these feelings that I had about him, ever.
I still think about him with Jennifer Aniston, and I can't get over it. So,
wasn't a fan. Not gonna lie, wasn't a fan.
you weren't a fan of him and Jen Aniston?
Nah, no. Give the man. Never mind. Let me shut up. I'm not gonna say. No, I wasn't a fan. I really much loved his his relationship with.
I did enjoy the Friends episode though with Brad Pitt, and he was dating Jennifer at the time.
Well, so Joe, so you think that, like, for me, as far as movie stars, Brad Pitt is it. Like, he's it. Like, man, like of the men, movie stars, he's it.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay.
And what do you think?
Okay. So yeah, I like George Clooney. I've said that before, but I like George Clooney because, we're very similar, so I can relate more to Clooney. Anyways, all right, let's move on. Let's
Okay. You know what? I'm not even going to ask how the fuck you think you're similar, but
let's
Get him.
let's go. Let's move on to the next one, shall we?
alrighty.
Okay. Yes.
Just to get into the episode this week a little bit, Rachel and Gabby did an interview and they talked about why the criticism of their season is just missing the point. So I think they were addressing the team thing, like Team Gabby, Team Rachel, right? Because you don't really want them to be pitted against each other. And I feel like as viewers, we were all like, I don't like that they're saying team. But they had to be split up. And they were basically saying like they're on their own journey now, so they hope it's not taken that way. I don't know. There were some weird parts there in this article too. I'm glad Rachel cleared up the fact that she was talking about her guys not paying attention to her on Gabby's group date. I'm glad she said that she was actually talking about that in private, and it was just like showing her and Gabby actually on the group date, because it made it seem like...
And her reactions. They were showing her reactions.
Yes.
As she was talking in her ITMs. Right.
Right. And it made it seem like she saw Gabby getting all this reassurance and attention. And so Rachel was like, damn, my guys suck. But that's apparently not how it really was. So I'm glad she did clarify.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think there's any animosity between Gabby and Rachel.
Not at all.
But I do think it's difficult. I think it seems to be more difficult for Rachel to
This week, yeah. This week, because last week it was Rachel. I mean, it was Gabby feeling this way.
Yeah, but I think it was also Rachel at the beginning. But I guess it would be difficult to see that a lot of the guys there are into the other Bachelorette.
But
right?
But the way that it was, I don't think that that's actually true. I think there were guys that were there for Rachel, and I feel like we would have to check, but I feel like more guys were verbal about "I'm here for you, Rachel" in the beginning than Gabby, that were verbal about it. I think so. But regardless, I think that they're very different, but also very both deserving, and like. Some guys just are more, you know how attraction works. Like, some people are just more attracted to other people. That doesn't mean that the one person doesn't deserve the other thing, right?
Yeah, I feel like we were there. The group date thing, it was a little confusing, because I was like, why is Rachel getting so upset? It's not even her date. Like, she's like extremely upset.
It's almost like she forgets that she has some guys that are super, super into her, like in those moments. Right. And she has to be reminded, like, oh yeah, I'm really into Tino. I'm really into Tyler. Like, she has to kind of bring herself back to that when she's watching Gabby.
For our listeners too, I mean, we've all been on this show. It is a controlled environment. So when you walk into a place and they say, okay, you guys stand here and watch these guys do this. Sometimes you're like, okay, like, can I go say hi to Rachel?
Yeah,
Can I
you
go
don't
say
really
hi? You know, I know there were moments for us, it was like, and that's why I know on our season, like a lot of the girls would get mad at Hannah Ann because she wouldn't care. She's just like, I'm just about to go talk to Peter. I don't care that we got to stand over here, that we got to do this. I don't care. And a lot of the girls would like get upset about that, but she just didn't care. I don't know.
But I guess she was also saying that she wasn't getting like any eye contact.
Right.
But it just like I don't know. I don't think it warranted such a like her getting so upset, but.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there could have been stuff missing that we don't see and we don't know,
And she called herself out. I think she's just coming from from one insecure moment to another insecure moment, and you know, and maybe that's why she felt that way. But what I thought was really interesting was how Gabby said when we were talking the Hayden situation, how Gabby said she called herself rough around the edges, and then he went and
You can't use that against me.
Back.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I can say, you know what? I'm on my period. I'm feeling really bitchy today. I'm a bitch today. Leave me alone. That don't mean you got to be like, yeah, you being a bitch today, girl.
Right.
What? You can't do that. Don't do that. You know?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
The Hayden, Hayden, he should have just
And him saying that
kept his mouth shut.
He was going to tell Rachel something that could really bring them closer and take them to the next level. And it was about his dog that he was like missing time with. His tactics are very bizarre.
Yeah.
And he straight up lied
and
about
that seemed,
comparing to
that
his
seemed
ex.
fake. It seemed fake. Like, as a dog mom, I love my dog.
No.
Tia, you got a dog.
Yeah, I disagree with you there. I don't think that was fake. I don't think that was fake.
What I mean by fake is like the timing of it all. It's like, oh, I'm in the hot seat because of what I said about Gabby. So let me bring up my dog and this thing that's happening with my dog. I'm saying the timing of it all.
Yeah,
I actually think
convenient.
the dog has the issues that the dog has. I'm not saying that part was fake. I'm just saying sometimes with like, you know, sometimes when people bring up these sad things that happened in their life, it's the right time. They're on their one-on-one date, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel like, oh, let me share something really, let me turn the narrative about me now, so you can feel sorry about me.
Yeah, but see, that's where I think you're wrong though, because I think Hayden is oblivious to all of it. I think he's a little narcissistic and lives in his own world, and I don't think he even knew that he was in a bad spot with Rachel.
You think?
Nah.
It seems
I don't think he did.
a little
Yes,
strategic.
that's your opinion. My opinion is strategy and manipulation. Yes. That's
because
Really?
he talks a big game when they're not around about how he's comparing them to his ex, and they don't hold a candle to his ex, and all.
And the
this
moment
stuff.
he said that's when you should have been like, you know what, I gotta go, because he said, "See, Rachel, this is why I'm here. I wouldn't want to be here. You know, I'm basically sacrificing being here because my dog is dying. See how I really want to be here, but yet you just said I don't hold a candle to your ex. So what you really doing here, bro?"
If I was one of the guys and he said that to me, I'd be like, "Tell me more. keep going, idiot."
Yeah, tell me about your ex and why she's your ex.
Okay,
Don't
but
be with her then.
Before we get into
Before
we get into the clickbait, let's talk about the way it ended, because the Logan thing, like, and the way it was shot and the way we watched it, it seemed like if Logan would have turned down Rachel's rose, that would I could have seen her quitting.
1,000%. That's
Right?
exactly what I was going to say. He was in a very weird position of doing the right thing, but also not sending Rachel on a spiral after we've seen her have a few breakdowns about, you know, not feeling wanted and chosen.
Yeah.
And he was in a very sticky ass situation. He's going to look bad either way.
Yeah, he's gonna lose for him.
Yeah.
Well, but do you think he should have taken the moment before the rose ceremony, like, you know how they're all
pulled her
standing up there,
aside.
and said, "Can I pull you both aside, or can I pull you aside, Rachel, or can I pull you aside, Gabby, or whatever?"
He
I
didn't
feel
get
like
that.
they still would have been like, they still would have felt shot down, or Rachel still would
know.
have felt shot down.
And
Okay,
but they canceled the cocktail party. He couldn't do that. He didn't have
I'm
the
saying
opportunity
right before,
to do
I'm
that.
saying right before the rose ceremony, like when they were all standing there in the rose ceremony. But
Like, you've seen people do it before. Be like,
Yeah,
hey, can I talk to you real quick?
Tammy's done it. Tammy's done it she did it during our season. I remember her doing that, and we were all so pissed because we were tired. But anyways, so, Joe, I have a question for you as the man on this podcast. If you had the opportunity to talk to one of them, which one are you going to talk to? Would you go talk to Gabby or would you talk to Rachel?
Ooh. That's a great question. So I feel like the right answer would be Rachel. But I feel like I think he should have. Just knowing how Rachel is, at least from what I see, what I assume, I think the move would have been to talk to Gabby. I think the move would have been to talk to Gabby.
Talk to Gabby or Rachel? You just said Rachel.
I think Rachel, from watching it, I think Rachel, like, you want to, like, be careful with her feelings and all that and let her know first.
Yes.
But I think the strategic play would probably be Gabby, because if he feels something with Gabby, she probably feels it too. I don't know. I mean,
I feel like Gabby would shoot him down, but I mean,
yeah.
And it's Rachel and Gabby talk to each other too, so it's a great question.
Listen,
Gabby was feeling Logan in the beginning. She was.
Yeah.
She was feeling him.
The polite thing to do would have been to 100% would be to tell Rachel first.
Yes.
But I just think the way Rachel has been shut down a few times during the season and how hard she has taken it, like, I could see him saying it and her just storming out and then be sitting there like, okay, now what am I going to do?
Yeah, I don't know that there's a right answer to that, but I do think there is a nicer answer to that. So, yes. Thank you, Joe. I think we should get into the clickbait now because I also wonder what other people think about that question. But yeah, let's get into the clickbait this week. Woohoo! Okay, guys, it's clickbait. 5 ways you know you're being auditioned to be the next lover. Now, y'all know I tell y'all when I love or when I hate a clickbait. I didn't like this one. I did not like this one. I didn't like it at all.
I didn't like it either. I read it and I didn't like it. Usually I don't even read them because I leave that up to you. And then last week I had to actually do the clickbait and I was reading it and I was like, shit, I didn't read this. But God.
Yeah, so I do think, so let me start by, before I say the 5 things, I do think that when you meet someone, at least for women, we'll know real quick, like, I just want to hook up with this guy. I could actually date this guy. Okay, he is husband, zaddy status. Right, Tia?
Right.
Sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we are wrong. A lot of times we are wrong. # why I'm still single. But sometimes you can mix people into different categories. Now, do men do that, Joe? Do they do that, like when they meet a girl, or is it just like, hey, I'd hook up with her?
Yeah. Men are at least
pretty simple.
Yeah.
Pretty simple like that. Okay.
At least all the guys I know and myself, yeah, it's pretty simple.
It's more like, would I hook up with this person or not? Right. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So according to this article, according to this clickbait, it says, if you are being auditioned to be someone's next lover, not boyfriend, not girlfriend, but lover, here are the 5 things that happens. They want to meet your family way too soon. They want to meet your friends way too soon. They want to help you do some heavy lifting, which what that means is like, oh, I'm moving, can you help me? And we just met 5 days ago, which is kind of a lot, but I get it.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened with Tia, but go ahead.
Spot on. True. Swear to God.
Yeah.
I'm the auditioner.
We're coming back. Honey, she said, I'm auditioning you to be a husband, okay?
Yeah. Tia literally told him, we're not going out, but if you want to come over and help me move.
Yeah, can you lift this rug for me? Thank you.
Wow.
And he did.
Okay. See, but I mean, okay, we're going to come. Okay, let me tell you the other 2, and then we're going to come right back to that. Okay. They test your honesty and trust. And the last one is they withhold intimacy of any level. Okay. So, back to doing the heavy lifting.
Written by Tia Booth.
Yeah. So wait, Tia.
We were friends first, at least.
But Tia, have you withholding intimacy at any level. Got it.
Damn it.
Have you ever asked a guy that you were really, really into? Like, really into? Because I know you and Taylor were friends and you wrote him off. He was young, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But would you ever ask a guy who you're like, he makes me sweat. He makes my, what'd you say in Paradise? He makes my vagina, what?
Tingle.
Tingle. Would you be like, hey, come help me move right now?
A guy
Would you-
that I
have you-
really, really like? No.
See, damn. Do you see this? But you see, it worked. It so worked, right?
Right.
And that's why I didn't really. So that's the thing about this. That's my criticism of this clickbait, because they're saying that this is kind of like a bad thing, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. If you from the jump are willing to sacrifice and come help me move or help me do this or help me do that, I think that also might mean that you're a reliable person, right? Like, why do
I agree. I don't like that this article is basically saying these things are bad. I don't necessarily think I don't think they all are, unless it's just like, unless you're just like not worried about like actually catching feelings. You just want these traits.
Well, it's
Right,
making it sound really
exactly.
strategic, and it's like, who has
Yeah.
the time to try to strategize all this? I don't know.
A lot of women in New York, let me tell you.
I mean, I guess some people do. That's why there's an article.
Yeah, and I think now, okay, meeting friends too soon, meeting family too soon. Now, I do know some girls, and because I have a lot of guy friends, I do know some girls, they want to meet all your friends. They're super sweet. They're super helpful. They're doing all these things because they want to be your girlfriend or they want to be this guy's girlfriend. And the moment they're girlfriends, they're like, oh, no, we don't want to hang out with that person. We don't want to be with that person. We don't want to do this. We don't do that. But they wanted to make a good impression. So everyone's like, yeah, she's so great. She's so cool. She's so this. She's so that. And I do think that that's freaking manipulative and ridiculous. And people do it. But I think also if you have the intention, and sometimes you just meet people and things are different. And if you have the intention that this could go somewhere, I don't think that there's anything wrong with meeting family and or friends early. No?
I agree.
And some of the family stuff was a little, I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but you would think that someone doesn't want to meet your family to see if you're like breedable or what you're going to look like when you're older. I don't know. That shit was wild.
crazy. Yeah. So in the article, she said that if people want to meet your family too soon, or really soon, they want to see what your parents look like or what your family tree basically looks like to see if you are gonna. And it was just very interesting that a woman wrote this. I was like, what? Did someone say that to her? Like,
Right.
Like, did someone say like, oh no, like your dad is balding and I can't have kids as balding? Like what?
I have
Like,
had a boyfriend before talk about other, like he was really tall and he was athletic. This was in college. He would talk about other women being like breeders. He's like, oh, she's a breeder. She's 5'10" and athletic. And I'm like, I'm your girlfriend.
I think,
we're dating.
I think that's kind of common with athletes.
Yeah.
Because I
They
think
see
a
it
lot
like
of
that.
a lot of athletes want to have very athletic kids.
because
Yeah,
they see
so
it in
people
themselves.
really,
Yeah.
people really
That
do
could be
that.
true.
Yeah.
That could be true. I think that could be true. And I do think that I also think that sometimes people are just attracted to like how I was raised in like my family, we really care about certain things, and it would be nice to marry someone who cares about the same things I care about as far as like my like foods and different things like that. Like someone who I would not want to date someone who eats McDonald's every day. Like I would not. Like I don't know. We're not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't do that. So I think it's like those types of things, but it's not, because you're going to be, you're going to gain weight from eating that. No, it's actually just bad for you. You know what I mean? So it's a different thing. So there were some morbid, like really crazy things that this article said, but I do think that if you meet someone and you find a spark and you feel things, I do think that why wait? Why, a guy told me once, why prolong the inevitable? You gonna meet their family anyway. You gonna meet their friends anyway. Why not meet them now?
Yeah, I agree.
The sooner the better. Rip the Band-Aid off, I guess.
We've all been willing to, move into a serious relationship pretty quick just from agreeing, just from going on the show. So.
Yeah. And lastly but not least, test your honesty and trust. This whole portion was games.
Yeah.
Like
I forgot
games.
what that part said.
That part, I mean, they were just talking about, like, basically, if someone's trying to test your honesty and your trust, it's like, I know some people say you have to earn their trust when you get into a relationship. And then other people, you just, hey, I like you, you like me. And maybe that's my naive part. Like, when I first meet a guy, I just trust them. Like, okay, if you say you're doing this, I just trust that you're doing that. Like, are we not all adults?
Right.
You know? But to say that you're doing this, but you're really doing this, and let me see if he's going to understand that, like, games. So
Nobody wants to play games, but
yeah.
I would say, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that overall, I think that you can do the things that are in this clickbait. You can do all the things that are in this clickbait and it not be necessarily an audition for your next lover. And it could actually be, I really like this person. So,
Right.
That's that.
True.
Well, I think now is probably the perfect time to bring on our next guest who wasn't playing games with Rachel because he was very upfront and honest, went right for her, and it seemed to have worked. So everyone please welcome Tyler from Gabby and Rachel's season on the podcast. Tyler, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. Okay, so first thing I'm going to ask you, I told a few people that we were interviewing you. My future sister-in-law really wants to know, what do you do for a living? Because we heard it's like you own a few basketball games on the Jersey Shore.
No, absolutely. So where I'm from Wildwood, New Jersey. So in Wildwood, New Jersey, we have the biggest boardwalk in the country. Okay. And on the boardwalk, obviously, you have the rides and everything else. But then there's a bunch of games up there. So what I have is my brother and I, we started up these basketball games on the Wildwood Boardwalk. We have a few football ones now, too. So you basically go up, you pay money, you try to win. We have jerseys where we're at. So a bunch of jerseys, all different teams, different sports. So you go up there and you try to win a jersey. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's nothing crazy, but
nice.
It's a lot of fun, though. I'll be honest with you.
Do you work on the boardwalk?
I do.
Too? So you're like a carny on the on the boardwalk. I love it.
That's you could put it that way. I am a carny.
Best looking carny I've ever seen.
Well, I appreciate that.
Would you? Is it scalable? Like, do you see yourself maybe bringing it to different amusement parks or different boardwalks?
No, absolutely. I mean, we've had different ideas. One that I thought was, put it on wheels, going to tailgates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So fun.
Certain sports teams. And that would be really cool. Just the licensing about that, you got to figure that out. That's a whole different animal. But me personally, I like owning my own business. It's something that I really enjoy. Ultimately, I want to do something that I'm passionate about. And, right now, the boardwalk games, it's good for the time being. Is it something I see myself doing down the line? No, it's more my brother's niche, not mine. But it gives me the ability to travel, which is why I love it so much.
Nice. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I think that's really cool. All right. So let's talk about The Bachelorette. You're on the show. Right. How is it watching yourself back?
It's a little weird. The kissing scenes, especially, that's one that I hate watching, especially when you're with your family and you're just like, oh my gosh, cut out
the sounds. I swear they make it louder.
I thought they would cut out the sound or something, but no, they got everything on there, and you're just like, oh my gosh, they were watching this with me. But other than that, I'm happy with it. So far, I mean, when I was on the show, I stayed true to myself. I was just, trying to find my person. So there wasn't anything that I felt like I did outside of the box, anything that might stand out and people be like, oh my gosh, why would he do that? Especially with my family watching it. So other than obviously the Speedo thing, that was something that I was not excited about, but it was whatever.
Okay.
Do you watch the show with your family every week?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. That's bold.
I know.
Tyler.
I know. Very bold. Yep.
And did you watch it? Did you watch it prior to going on it?
So the only season that I really watched, like every single episode, was this past season. Was the one right before me, Clayton season.
Okay.
And yeah, which was like pretty funny because ultimately after that one, I got asked to do the show. So yeah, I have a really funny story actually about that.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
Love,
All
love,
right.
love a good funny story.
So I remember it was like after the second episode, I was about 2 bottles of wine deep, and I'm watching the show, and I thought, since the day she got out of the limo, I thought Rachel was gorgeous. Like I was just, oh my gosh, like I was just like, you know what? Why don't I just DM her on Instagram? Why not?
Oh,
All right.
So
I like where this is going.
So I DM'd her after the second week and I said, hey, if things don't work out with Clayton and you ever end up as the Bachelorette, sign me up because I would love to, pursue you.
Yeah.
And a week later, I got a call that I got nominated for the show and I was asked if I wanted to do it.
Did
So,
she nominate you?
I wish. I don't think so.
Oh, she saw your DM and nominated you.
If I were you, I would have been like, oh, Rachel must have said something to one of the producers, and maybe that's how I got on.
I wasn't that confident about it. I don't even think she saw my DM. I told her. I did tell her. So when we had the one-on-one, I did inform her that I DM'd her. And she was just like, well, I got to look back and see if that's actually true. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's true. I wouldn't delete the message either. It's still out there. So
wait, go see if she read it. I want to know.
yeah, because there was a moment when you said, I'm here for you. In the episode this week, and I was like, is that because you said that before, or is it because you told her about this DM and then that you kind of reiterated and said that?
Exactly. That's kind of like how I got into that conversation was,
Gotcha.
I told her because I never actually had the conversation with her prior because I wanted to get to know her. Like I knew her from the show side, obviously,
right.
but you don't know what they're going to be like when you meet them in person. And I just thought she was incredible. And I was just like, you know what? Why not tell her?
So were you 100% confident, like you're from the beginning, you're there for Rachel? Or was there like any part of you that was like, if I hit it off with Gabby, maybe?
No, I was definitely 100% in on Rachel once I got there.
Okay.
I really wanted to get to know her. So I knew to myself, like if I only get to know one of the women, if I didn't get an opportunity to, really talk to both of them, I knew I wanted to pursue Rachel since I got there. But obviously, Gabby's she was amazing on her season and she seemed so funny and so genuine. So obviously I wanted to have a conversation with her at some point. And
But you hate her. So we get that.
That's the way to answer that question. That's the way to say it to where you're like, I'm so into Rachel, but Gabby's great. That's all you got to say. Some of these other dudes should have taken a freaking lesson.
Okay, so you're in France. Mm-hmm. You're living on a cruise ship. Were you excited about like, hey, you guys, the first place we're going is France? Like that's a cool first destination.
Super cool.
No, absolutely. I mean, when you get on this show, like you don't know where you're possibly going to go. And, having the opportunity for myself, especially because I love traveling and, especially going international, knowing that we were going to have an opportunity to go to France right then and there, I was just like, oh my gosh, get me out of this mansion. Let's do this. And it was the best experience ever. Like just, getting a chance to see France because I had never been.
You should actually try to get your games on a cruise ship.
That'd be sick.
Just saying.
I like that.
The Bachelor's got that connection now. So, okay. So was it a relief to when the guys actually got split up? Did that feel? Yeah. Was it a relief?
No, I feel like it was a lot better just because the time that you ultimately wanted to get with their photo shoot, prime example, like, yeah, we had a chance to like talk with Gabby and Rachel, but I knew I just wanted to, hopefully talk with Rachel. But there's just so many like different people trying to talk here and there, especially when the guys are interested in both women, because it takes away time from some guy who's interested in just one. So right. I think it was perfect the way they split it up, and it was definitely time for that. especially for certain guys that wanted to pursue one woman.
Did they separate you guys living together too? Like on the cruise ship? They did?
They did, yeah.
Oh, so you meet your best buddies, then they split you up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, was there anyone that was for Gabby that you were really bonding with and close with?
Absolutely. I mean, I was boys since day one. I was boys with Mario. He was my limo guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was boys with Nate. I mean, how can you not love Nate? He's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny too. Johnny was originally like a Jersey Shore guy. He ended up moving to Florida, but he was a guy that, I related with a lot as well. So, seeing all those guys get the other side. And Quincy too. Quincy, he's a character. I love Quincy.
Yeah, he's
wow. So it seems like a lot of the.
I know,
well, but maybe it's because you guys are not into the same girl.
It made it a lot easier. Yeah, the conversations were a lot easier.
Yeah. Is there more animosity now between you and the rest of Rachel's guys? Because now it's like there's only 5 or 6 of you, and you all know we're going for the same woman.
I think the coolest part about the experience is the fact that you have so much respect for each other, especially when you get to know each other on a deeper level, that, there's just certain conversations you don't have. You don't talk about your relationship with Rachel at that time being, there's so many different things you can talk about because ultimately you haven't known these people your entire life. So there's so many other things you can talk about and get to know about each other. And I think that's something we stayed true to, all of us, and why we had so much respect for each other.
Nice. So let's talk about the worst group date that's ever been on the show.
Oh my God. It took me a long time to watch. I had to keep pausing. Coming back.
Oh God.
You got the rose on that group date, correct?
Yes.
But yeah, what were your thoughts just, at the beginning of it, the whole smell my armpit, just everything, watching the other guys fall flat on their faces. How did that go?
Yeah. As soon as we walked in, there was a couple that was just making out, and I don't even know how to explain that making out. It was awkward. And I'm just sitting there. I'm just okay, when is this going to end? And it went on for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, really? And then just
I'm like, how long? Because it seemed like 5 minutes.
At it, yes. And then finally, they turn. They go, "Oh, hey, how you guys doing?" And we're like, "I guess we're doing well." Obviously, we did the armpit thing. I was just happy I put on cologne and deodorant that day.
Shit, and you're probably sweating from nerves too. I feel like Rachel was also uncomfortable too in some
There's
parts.
no doubt about it. I feel like they said that, and she turned and she was just like, I'm doing what?
Were any of the other guys freaking out that they didn't put deodorant? Was anybody like, shit, I smell? I actually smell right now?
He's laughing because yes.
I think the best was Meatball's face as soon as he heard what we were doing, and he just turned and looked over towards Ethan, and he saw his face go, "Oh no!" And I was just like, "Oh no, this is happening."
Well, but I thought with the whole pheromone thing, because of the deodorant, because of all these different things, I thought it was always the back of the neck that was the place.
That would
really
be your natural smell, right?
Yeah,
that's
deodorant covers it up.
That's what I thought. But so when I was like, but I guess it's a TV show. You got to make it crazy. Was there anyone that because I feel like we didn't see everyone's armpit thing. She did like yours a lot. She did. She was like, oh, that's nice. We saw yours. But there,
armpit.
Yeah. But was there anyone that she was just kind of besides Meatball? I know we saw that one.
Yeah, she went straight in for Meatball and said, I'm out.
I think Meatball was the only one.
Okay.
Yeah, she turned around. She goes, I don't know about this one because you have to guess. Well, she was supposed to guess who it was.
But he was talking though. He was
exactly.
talking.
Well, he talked afterwards. He was like, "Oh, come on."
Oh yeah,
which was so funny. Yeah.
Did she guess them right?
No. I don't think so.
No.
She just kept talking about what she thought the smells were like and everything, and she said whether she liked it or not.
Well, you know what? Let me actually rewind to before you guys go on that group date. Rachel was really upset about how she felt ignored during Gabby's date. What was it like for you guys, just that whole experience? Did you know? Did you know when you were there? Like, how did that go down?
No, it was definitely something that surprised all of us as soon as she walked in. And, at first I saw her walking in and I was like excited. I was just like, oh, here comes Rachel. And then I saw that she was upset and I was just like, oh, this isn't good. So, she was just describing like how she felt and everything. And, it really hit me. And I know it hit a lot of the other guys too, because especially like if you're in a relationship with somebody, you want to make that person feel like they're the only ones there. And you always want to make them feel seen. And when somebody says that, especially when you have guys vying for you every single day, and ultimately the goal is to leave with you, if you ever feel like that at any point, like that really hits you to the core. And it's just like, wow, like I really got to step it up somehow. So yeah, it was definitely surprising, but it was something that I feel like a lot of the guys were just like, all right, we should really like pull it together here.
Yeah.
Did you think there was an opportunity to go talk to her? Like, can you take us like in that moment when you guys are watching the guys? Was it just this excitement and that's why no one was over there? Like, what was the mindset?
Yeah, I guess. We were pretty far away. Obviously, she was on the other side. She was there with Gabby, and when we, were told that there was a boxing match going on, and we had a surprise for us. They were just like, you guys are going to come in and you guys are going to like get to watch them box. I guess just because, we felt like we should, like, we're like cheering for these guys and everything. And like, that's what we're there for. So, and because she was sitting with Gabby, it was confusing for us. We didn't know exactly how to go about it, but obviously we were very happy Rachel was there. At least we get to see her. But yeah, I just didn't see an opportunity to go over there and like talk to her. And I know obviously the other guys like felt the same way.
Yeah. Well, then you see the way she reacted, and it ended up being a good thing for you because you stepped up your game and you win the group date, and now you get this one-on-one time with Rachel. Seems that you guys are both very into each other. She's into you, you're into her. You get deep, you talk about your past relationships. You want to talk about that date a little bit? Or not date, whatever, the one-on-one time, whatever the hell it is?
No, yeah. Absolutely. So with the one-on-one, as soon as I got in there, I knew there was definitely something I wanted to talk to her about. I wanted to make it feel like, I know for myself, like at the time I was only 25 years old. I'm 26 now. But I wanted to make her feel like, this ends up with an engagement. Can somebody get there? And I knew that I had gotten there before with somebody else. And I knew that was, ultimately what I always wanted in my life. Like my dream was always to, one day meet the person that I spend the rest of my life with and, be a dad and, just have that lifestyle. That was something that always I wanted. And I wanted to make it known that just because of my age doesn't mean that I'm not emotionally ready for that. So, I went in there and, I told her about my past. I told her that, I had somebody before that, was somebody that I saw my whole life with, that I was fully prepared to, one day get down on one knee and, and I even bought a house for us to live in. So I was ready to take that step before. And, I informed her that, it was very, very tough for the year and a half after that. And I hadn't given anybody else a chance just because I knew for myself, it wouldn't be right to give that chance, like to jump into another relationship when I knew 100% I wasn't ready. But I wanted to let her know that I was ready for something like that. And I'm not scared to, to take that leap with somebody.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah, I really loved your conversation that you guys had about like loving hard. And I think you probably were referring to how she fell for Clayton, right? When you were talking about that. Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
So after that, like, how do you feel you stand right now at this point?
I feel really, really good. I had a really, really good connection with Rachel, and it was just the entire night to me just went perfectly. That day, getting a chance to, read a poem that I wrote for her the night before, just feel like we were both in our feelings. We're able to open up to each other. And I was just like, all right, this is why I'm here. And this is exactly, how I see, my future with Rachel being, like, having these conversations. So.
Okay, let's get into this poem for a second.
Yeah.
So, do you prefer writing letters and or poems, or if we were in the real world, would it have been a text message, or what would you have done? Would you have drove over to her house? What would you have done?
So that's funny you say that. So kind of with me, I always love in a relationship, I always love being the person that goes above and beyond, just because I like making somebody happy. It like makes me feel good. And, that was just something I was just like, all right, I always do this in relationships whenever I'm in one. Like, now's your chance to do that, show her how much she means to you and show her, how you want to make her happy at the end of the day. And like, to me, like little letters, poems, stuff like that, that has so much more sentimental value than, just a text or a phone call or something like that.
I love an
old
old-fashioned letter.
Expect. Yeah, right.
Or just like a birthday card, like a handwritten birthday card. It's so special and nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tyler's so romantic. We're gonna get you though. We're gonna get you.
Like,
we're gonna play a game and we're gonna really
right
crack this guy. Okay,
Yes.
before we are gonna play a game, but before we do that, kind of want to know your thoughts on Hayden. Watching that back, let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, watching it, you make friends in the house and everything. And, I wasn't there for any of those conversations or anything. Me personally, like, I always steer clear of drama. I just don't do it. I kind of like, I'm there for Rachel, so I'm focused on that. I know the person that I met when I was on that show, and, I can't sit here and, talk for anybody else, but me personally, my relationship with Hayden, he's my boy. I love Hayden.
Okay.
But we're human. You make mistakes, you say things, and ultimately that's a conversation for him to have, to really, talk about what exactly happened, for sure.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I respect that.
And watching it back, did you know at the time in the house that Logan was going through his conflict, or you didn't know?
I had no idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
No, No clue whatsoever. It was definitely something that, I just had no idea. And I was good friends with Logan too, so which surprised me. It was just a conversation we never had.
Yeah, he was kind of cryptic before the cocktail party with what he said.
I mean, oh yeah, he was like, I have a lot of things I need to get off my chest or something. He said, yeah, or something. Tonight's about some truths or something. He said,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was tough for him because he didn't get a chance to talk to either of the women at the cocktail party.
Right.
So yeah, that's definitely a conversation that he needed to have, but never got the opportunity.
Did you guys think it was weird to see him talking to Jesse about it? I thought it was weird. I thought it was weird.
So
I watched that.
Yeah, me personally, I didn't get it. I didn't even know he talked to Jesse. I didn't even see that or anything. So when I was watching it back, I was just like, oh wow, I didn't even know this had happened. There's just so much going on, and you're living in your own little world and everything. There's so many things that you just miss out on.
Yeah.
Tyler's so focused on Rachel, he doesn't even see anyone else.
I don't see anybody else. I told her that. Nobody else. Just Rachel.
See, that's good.
Well,
Rachel will listen to this podcast and be like,
I think Logan's fucked, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
100%.
It doesn't. I don't know what happens, but I am curious to see. All right.
yeah.
Tyler, you want to play a game with us?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. So
Rapid fire.
First thing that comes to mind. Okay. We like to get to know our guests a little more. So here we go. As a child, your dream job was?
To be a baseball player.
Do you have any pets?
I have a dog named Milo.
Name what?
Milo.
Oh,
Milo.
I have a Marlo.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait, what?
I know.
Well,
Yeah,
Natasha has a
too.
Nyla, so
I have a
kind of close.
Nyla. I do. Yes. Your go-to pizza order.
I would say I like Sicilian.
Okay.
What on
What-
it?
I usually don't do. Sometimes pepperoni. Usually nothing, just plain.
Just plain cheese? Okay.
Yep.
Really? Sicilian over thin crust, huh?
Yeah, I know.
No, I like Sicilian
I
style
don't even know
too.
what that means. I gotta look
It's the
that up.
square one that's like.
Yeah.
Tia, you gotta come to New York. Get some Sicilian.
I'm
in
like,
your
we
life.
eat it from a box here. I don't know, a frozen box.
Oh Lord, no. Okay. Current screensaver on your phone right now.
It's my dog Milo.
Oh. Do you have any hidden talents?
Hidden talents. I like to dance outside.
Oh,
of
God.
Meatball did too. And
Yeah.
Meatball
Oh,
showed
God.
us his
Show
dance
us.
moves if you want to show yours.
I'll keep that to myself for the time being.
The fact that men say that their hidden talent is dancing is hilarious to me. I don't think a woman would ever say like, "Oh
No.
yeah, that's my hidden talent. I know how to twerk."
Well, the best, Meatball got up and danced before he even finished the sentence.
Oh,
was
Yeah, he
Yeah.
literally was like, "I'll show you."
We
my
couldn't
hidden
even see his
talent."
feet. Had no clue what move he even did.
It was actually really hilarious. It was funny.
Oh.
You see why people like him. Okay, what is your favorite curse word?
Just say it.
Yeah.
I'd say I say shit all the time. Shit.
Shit.
Me too.
That's the first time we've had a shit, guys.
No, we had a
Last
shit
week.
last week.
Mhm.
We had a
Oh,
shit
I
last
missed
week.
it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed
Yep.
it. Damn. You and Tremaine, yeah. What is your zodiac sign?
Zodiac sign. That's a good question. I have no idea. I think
When were
your
you
birthday?
born?
What's your birthday?
it's June 21st.
Gemini.
So, is it Gemini?
Or is it past
Oh, you
Gemini?
know what?
Or is
Cancer?
it Virgo?
I was told it's a Gemini Cancer cusp.
Gemini,
Oh,
Cancer.
Cancer. Oh, yes, actually, yes, because my brother's the 22nd and he is a Cancer. And I have a friend who's a 20th and she is a
Gemini?
A Gemini, yeah.
So
Wow.
can
So
you
yeah,
be
you're on a
both?
cusp.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you are one or the other, but you probably have traits of both, is what they say. Yes.
I'll
so,
take it.
Yeah, Gemini, Cancer, got it. Okay, go to karaoke song, go.
Ooh. Thinking these boots.
These boots are made for walking?
Yeah.
And that's just what they'll do?
Yeah. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Wow. All right. Nice.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's a
all right.
good one. That is a good one. All right. Okay. Something that is on your bucket list.
Bucket list. Ooh, I haven't been bungee jumping yet. Definitely want to go
Okay.
bungee jumping. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds dangerous.
Terrifying.
All
Yeah.
right. Yep. Last one. If you can sum up the rest of the season in one word, what would it be?
One word. I'm not going to use drama. I'm going to use my favorite, romantic.
Aww.
Nice.
Okay,
Nice.
That's a
Good.
good one.
Yep.
That is a good one. All right,
Nice.
Tyler. Well,
Thank you so much for coming
Time's
on.
up.
Guys, it was so nice
Beat it.
meeting you. Thank you so much. I'll get
thank you.
going. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
look forward to watching you.
Bye.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.
Tyler.
Yeah,
Tyler.
Tyler, he was
I
great.
like him. I think Rachel's into him.
I think so too. Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize he was only 25. Well,
Yeah,
almost.
but you could tell he 100%. Like I have friends like that just really wanted to get married young and have kids young.
Yeah, he's talking about he's 25. He bought the girl a house. That's it, huh?
I know, and he said they were broken up for a year and a half. I'm like, you were 22, 23,
yeah,
buying
well,
this girl a home?
I said okay. I would have rather. I listen. He knew she wasn't the one. He bought the house instead of the ring. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He knew deep down. He knew.
He said, I want to live here, thanks.
Maybe.
You gotta go. All right. Well, thank you so much to our listeners, and thank you to Tyler for being here with us. And make sure to catch new episodes of The Bachelorette every Monday on ABC or Hulu.
Yes, and make sure you subscribe to the podcast, because the more subscribers we get, the better we do, which we love. But yeah, subscribe, submit all your questions, follow us at ClickbaitBN on Instagram. We load all our clips on there from this podcast because it's also visual. So check it out.
And share your stories with us. We want to know what clickbait you guys are looking at this week. Clickbait is available on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you listen. You can listen ad-free by subscribing to Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts or the Wondery app. And we will see you guys next week.